This is the Jason Walker Show. Two-time National Sports Media Association Montana Sportscaster of the Year and three-time loser, the Jason Walker Show. The best local and statewide sports coverage, featuring the biggest guests from Montana.
Flint Rasmussen joining us here on the Jason Walker Show.
He's freaking exhausting, too. You used to dance a lot more. Yeah, I know, lady. I'm 51 years old now.
The NAI Hall of Famers, Mike Van Diest, joining us here, Jason Walker Show. And is it just a deal where quarterbacks have to be good golfers?
Well, that's all they have time for. They don't work out. They don't lift weights. They don't do anything else. They might as well go get on the golf course and at least have some fun.
And from across the country,
Doug Gottlieb, our guest here on the Jason Walker Show.
End of the day, remember, it's your show. It's got your name on it.
Howie Mandel, our guest here.
Jason Walker, deal or no deal?
The Jason Walker Show, broadcasting from the Major Mortgage Man Cave. Here's Jason Walker.
Hey, happy Tuesday. Jason Walker Show presented by Capital Collision Center. Montana state law says it is your vehicle, it is your choice. Where you have it repaired, choose Capital Collision Center. Big show today inside the Major Mortgage Man Cave. We'll talk high school hoops with Guy Almquist, Capital Boys coach. We're going to talk to Sue Halls Bannon, cheer coach over at Capital, and much more. We have On This Day in History, the walk-off, and everything else coming up that you have become accustomed to on this show. And you can watch live on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. You can listen live on Podbean, Network One Sports, TreasureStateRadio.com as I sport my new Great Falls Central Mustang shirt. So thanks to Coach Wes Ross for the shirt. I either have been working out too much or I've been eating too much because it feels like a medium. Thanks, Coach. All right, so the NAI tournaments get started this weekend with regionals across the country. And the Carroll College men and women both heading to Lewiston, Idaho, and they were the Carroll men were supposed to play the College of the Ozarks out of Missouri, and then all of a sudden today it was announced that they weren't. And joining us now is Helena IR sports reporter and Carroll beat writer Daniel Shepard, who's been doing a great job since he got into town. But Daniel, what happened, and why does Carroll have a new opponent?
Well, it sounds like College of the Ozarks pulled out of the tournament. I spoke to someone with the NAI this morning, and they said College of the Ozarks president wasn't willing to have them go compete in Lewiston this weekend. So Carroll men will now play Texas Wesleyan out of the Sooner Athletic Conference on Friday.
Okay, so... And I was reading the College of the Ozarks website. I reached out to their AD. I haven't heard back yet. I'm sure you did the same thing, Daniel. But it said right there on their homepage of sports that this is like a week-by-week decision. And they've played some hoops, and now all of a sudden they can't go to the NAI tournament. Like, why would you play then anyway?
I'm not sure. I mean, they've only played, 7 games this year. So, and the whole reason why they're in this position, why they were chosen, to go to nationals, they upset the number 1 seed in their conference tournament. They're part of the independent schools. They beat the number 1 seed to get to the semifinal game, and that's kind of what put them in this position. So I'm not sure what their thinking is right now.
Well, and it's weird because I think they were 2-5. Is that right? Something like that.
Yeah, 2-5.
Okay, and then they pulled off an upset win. So. I guess it's probably a good thing, and now Carroll gets 10-5 Texas Wesleyan. But if you're Coach Paulson in the game, now you've got to re-switch everything in a hurry to focus on a completely different basketball team than what you were thinking you were going to play.
Right. It sounds like this decision was made late Friday, so really since Saturday, you've had to prepare, but that takes a couple days away from your preparation time for sure.
There's no doubt. Daniel Shepard joining us, Helena IR sports reporter. All right, and the winner gets LC. Is that right? No, Arizona Christian, which is that's a loaded. I mean, Lewiston, Idaho is loaded with talent for this regional this weekend at the activity center. It's going to be doesn't matter A bracket or B bracket, Daniel. It looks tough on either end.
Right. Yeah. The Carroll women, they play the winner of LC State and William Jessup, I believe. Mm-hmm. Arizona Christian is the 1 seed on the men's side, but it's going to be interesting to see who comes out of that bracket. Carroll women have the inside track, obviously, with the number 1 seed, but it'll be in for some good games, especially on the men's side. Carroll's got to play, 2 if they win on Friday.
So if they beat Texas Wesleyan, which is out of the Southland, or not Southland, but the Texas Red River Sooner Athletic Conference, that's right. Carroll, on their run to the national championship a couple years ago, beat a team out of the same conference and made a run to the national championship game. So maybe this is fortuitous. Is that a word?
Well, last year they were actually scheduled to play Texas Wesleyan in the opening round of the national tournament before it got canceled. So this is kind of like deja vu for them.
It kind of is, Daniel. And so now there's you have a little bit of similarity with some players on Texas Wesleyan. This is a very good basketball team, though. How much have you learned about them?
Yeah, I've kind of went over them a little bit. It looks like they're scoring 83 points a game. They kind of remind me, on paper at least, of a little bit of like Providence.
Okay.
Have 3 players scoring 11.9 plus and 8 players scoring at least 6 points per game. So they like to distribute the ball. They got good guard play. Can make threes, can defend well. So reminds me a lot of Providence from the Frontier.
Which is a pretty good basketball team in its own right. You've been covering the Frontier. Were you surprised as we switch over to the women's side now that the Frontier got 3 teams in?
I don't think so. I mean, Providence overtook Western for the number 2 seed there going into the Frontier tournament. So you kind of figured Providence was gonna get in. A little shocked that Providence lost and didn't make it deeper into the Frontier tournament than they did, to the championship game. But Providence and Western are both good teams, and then obviously Carroll is kind of the class of the conference. So not surprised they got 3 in. I think those are 3 really good basketball teams.
It's kind of tough for the St. Women. We'll talk to Rochelle Sayers tomorrow here on the Jason Walker Show, but and Lindsay Woolley, by the way, will join us tomorrow too. But they're the 1 seed, and if LC State wins on its home court, which they probably will, William Jessup is good, but they're not LC State good. And then it's a former Frontier rival on its home floor, and that's a tough place to play. Carroll's had some success there in recent years, but is that fair? Where the 1 seed is at the home of the 2 seed for regionals?
Yeah, I don't know about that. Seems like it'd be a little bit unfair, but I believe Carroll's got a 2-1 record against LC State this year, so
yep.
They've had success against them. I think one of those wins was like a 51-point victory too earlier in the season. So.
It was, yeah. I think before you got to town, Carroll won at home, and then they did lose at LC later in the year. But hey, Daniel Shepard joining us here from the Helena IR 406mtsports.com. All right, you've got a little southern drawl, man. Where are you from?
I'm from North Carolina.
All right. What part?
The western part of the state, so right on the Tennessee border.
Okay. Is that close to Salisbury then, or no?
It's about an hour and a half from Salisbury, yeah.
Okay. But I've been there once, so it's a nice little town, and Charlotte, of course, right there, and North Carolina was kind of nice. All right, so what do you think of Montana?
So far, so good. That stretch of 15 below zero was a little rough, but we're getting through it.
All right. Would you rather have tornadoes and hurricane threats and flood threats like in North Carolina, or the cold weather here in Montana?
Well, I was lucky where I was. I'm from the mountains of North Carolina, so we didn't get a whole lot of extreme weather. Okay. But I've always been kind of a cold weather person. I don't like really hot summers. I prefer the cold. So, cold doesn't bother me as much as the heat does.
Well, you'll have some fun in the summer here because it doesn't get humid hot like it does in North or South Carolina down there.
Yeah. And I went to school in Greenville, North Carolina, the humidity capital of the world, it seems like. So, not a fan of humidity.
Was that UNC Greenville?
No, it was East Carolina.
Oh, okay. All right. So, how did you get into sports and why?
Oh, wow. Well, I always enjoyed writing. Always enjoyed watching sports. I'm a Cubs fan. So I always enjoyed, watching baseball, and found out I enjoyed writing, so I kind of combined the two. Got to write about the Cubs for some blogs around the internet, and decided to major in that at East Carolina, and kind of decided that's what I wanted to do for a living. Kind of watch sports for a living and write about it. So I'm lucky that I get to pursue that. Yeah,
except there's a phrase you just used, and us in media understand this. you can't make a living at this unless you're, big time.
Yeah.
As you know, being in Montana and welcome to low pay. But hey, but that's why you pay the bill, or you pay your dues, right?
Right. You have to enjoy, what you do. You're not going to get rich in this profession, so you have to have a certain enjoyment for what you do.
There is no doubt about that. Hey, I know you're a busy dude. I appreciate the quick conversation today, and we'll get you on again. But I've enjoyed your work the first couple of months you've been on the job. Keep it up, man.
I appreciate that. Thank you for having me on.
Yep, that is Daniel Shepard joining us here. He works for 406mtsports.com, and the Carroll men now facing Texas Wesleyan instead of the College of the Ozarks. I reached out to the athletics director, SID, heard nothing back, and it's just an interesting decision. It really is, because you've allowed your team to play basketball. Your team competed in the conference tournament. Your team pulls an upset, qualifies for the national tournament, and then all of a sudden you pull the rug out from underneath of them. Now, if you're going to have COVID issues, and they're not sending them to, California. I mean, this is Idaho, where Idaho has been mostly opened up. They get fans in the stands, except in Frontier Conference football, which was announced yesterday. But if you're going to have issues related to COVID, then don't allow your team to play in the first place. Right? I mean, they played 7 games, pulled an upset in the conference tournament, and get to go to the NAI regionals, and then you say, yeah, no, sorry. Now, I know every team was in this position last year, but that was every team was in this position last year. There wasn't a tournament. Now there is, and now you're saying, sorry, guys, we're not going to send you to Lewiston, Idaho. Now, College of the Ozarks is not saying why the president wouldn't allow him to go, but you have to figure it's COVID-related, and it's a joke. You're qualified. Send your team to nationals. Unless they are going to shut the whole thing down again, which they're not. They're going to let them play. So anyway, so Carroll College, Coach Paulson and his staff will get the team. They've been working on Texas Wesleyan now since Saturday. So and already had done a little bit of research, as Daniel had said. They already did a bit of homework last year. They were set to face them before the whole tournament got canceled. But they'll face Texas Wesleyan, now 10-5, on Friday night out there in Lewiston, Idaho. Carroll women on Saturday will play. The winner of the LC State William Jessup game. William Jessup's pretty good. They've been to the national tournament before. And we know how good LC State has been, the Frontier, over the years, and blew through the Cascade Conference, which we all knew they would do. All right, quick break. We're going to come back, and we're going to talk cheerleading. And who knows what else. Sue Halls Bannon, the cheer coach over at Capital, reached out to me last week and said, can I come on your show next week? And I said, sure, what do you want to talk about? She said everything, which scares the heck out of me. But we'll find out what she wants to talk about next here on the Jason Walker Show, which is presented by Capital Collision Center. We talk about Montana state law says it's your vehicle. It is your choice where you have it repaired. And take it to Capital Collision Center. I took mine there even before they became the presenting sponsor of the show. I took my vehicle to Capital Collision Center when it was in a wreck. And the work that they did. Now, they go through training that costs a lot of money. It costs equipment. And that's why they are manufacturer certified to repair many different brands and models of vehicles. Because they care about you. They care about your vehicles. Let me turn that down. That is Sue calling, so we'll get Sue on shortly here. But Capital Collision Center is the one place in town to take your vehicle when it's injured. Okay, if it's hurt, if it's injured, you take it to Capital Collision Center. They have a book. It's a playbook. It'll tell you exactly how to repair your vehicle, and they do it down to the smallest nut and bolt. Capital Collision Center on Euclid and Helena. Coming right back. I have no idea what we're going to talk about with our next guest, but we'll find out in a couple of minutes here on the Jason Walker Show.
New vehicles keep coming, and Capital Collision Center keeps earning certifications to repair them. They're Helena's newest GM-certified facility. No matter the make or year, they repair your car to manufacturer's standards and requirements, maintaining its safety and value. Montana state law says it's your vehicle and it's your choice where you have it repaired. Choose Capital Collision Center, certified in GM, Subaru, and Nissan, and Helena's only shop certified in Honda, Acura, and Ford. When you value safety, go to Capital Collision Center on Euclid.
Have you thought about buying a home and just don't know where to begin? Well, when it comes to one of the most important purchases one can make, we understand it can be frustrating and confusing, but it doesn't have to be. Let the Major Mortgage team help you with all your mortgage needs. Major Mortgage means major service, and we would love the opportunity to help you today. Give J.R. McFadden, NMLS number 1246357, a call today at 406-465-1918, or you can visit him at 2001 11th Avenue, Building A, Suite 3 in Helena. Major Mortgage is a division of AMCAP Mortgage, NMLS number 129122, equal housing lender. Spring is fast approaching and summer is just around the corner, so now is the time to get those windows tinted at Auto Concepts as the sun starts to heat up. Tinting is the best way to keep the sun out of your little one's eyes driving down the road. Plus, it just looks cool. Auto Concepts is your exclusive 3M dealer for tinting as well as the best clear bras in town. Auto Concepts clear bras will not fade or yellow over time. And don't forget about suspension lifts and power steps for your rig too. Visit AutoConceptsHelena.com or check them out on Facebook. Auto Concepts, the auto enhancement professionals.
Store-wide savings are what you'll find when you shop for new home furnishings at Rucker's Furniture. This means tremendous values on Helena's largest in-stock selection of home furnishings. When you shop Rucker's, you'll find store-wide savings on the furniture you want for every room in your home. And you'll also find our selection of Serta iComfort, the most comfortable beds in Helena. 12-month financing is available with approved credit on most purchases over $299. Ask for details. You'll find store-wide savings at Rucker's Furniture, 1010 Dearborn, Helena.
Welcome back, Jason Walker Show. This segment brought to you by Rucker's Furniture. Make the quality choice for your home at Rucker's Furniture, 1010 Dearborn, Helena. There, I think I may have gotten that fixed now. All right. Jason Walker Show, presented by Capital Collision Center inside the Major Mortgage Man Cave, and I am scared to death about what our next guest wants to talk. I have no idea. All she said last week, she sent me a message and said, dude, got to come on the show next week. And I'm like, all right. So I'm in Great Falls. I'm doing, like 17 of 24 basketball games, and I'm trying to do a show live, and she's getting a hold of me. And so I have no idea. This could be my last show based off this next interview. But we welcome in Capital Cheer Coach Sue Halls Bannon. Oh. And Sue, before we get started,
got it.
A back tuck is a backward somersault like Noah Kovic did. Now, he was not in the pike position, and he was also not laid out, which would have been a back flip. And so there is your gymnastics terminology, cheer stuff for the day.
Correct. Got it. Well, yeah, I don't think he didn't touch his hands on the mat. He just flipped, so that made it a tuck. He didn't even, you know what I mean? If he would have put his hands on the mat, that would have been a flip.
Okay.
It's following me?
Just just a straight flip, not a tuck, not a flip.
Right, correct.
Okay. All right. Hey, he can do it. I can't. That's all I know. So, he also says that you were going to yell at him, Sue. You were going to.
Oh, know, Noah and I have a unique relationship. Well, we practice cheer every day right after wrestling, and so it kind of overlaps a little bit. And so, I always got to give him a little bit of a hard time about this, that, and the other. And his girlfriend is one of my cheerleaders, so that makes it even more interesting. So, our we have a lot of connections, and it's just so fun watching him. I just love wrestling. And my high school, where I grew up in Utah, was 7 years in a row state champs. And so it goes back a long ways for me. So it's been fun watching those Capital kids. Man, they work hard.
Yeah, they definitely do. And Coach Mahane has done a very nice job over there. All right, so Sue Halls Bannon joining us here, Jason Walker Show. I'm going to open it up for you and let you go. I don't know where you're headed. Like I said, this might be the very last Jason Walker Show, but you have the floor, Sue.
Well, okay. I'm going to talk about a few things. I'm going to talk, first of all, about the Facebook Live and when you can do it and when you can't do it. Mm-hmm. So I don't know, a couple of weeks, well, it was crosstown basketball. I Facebook Live on and off all year. And so because not many people can go to the games, especially during football season. So I was Facebook Live in a couple things, and somebody called me in, and I get a call from my athletic director the next day that said, "Hey, so you can't be Facebook Live in at the games." I'm like, "What?" And I said, "And no one told me I couldn't." And he goes, "Well, you can't." And I said, "Well, about a month ago, I Facebook Live almost the whole crosstown wrestling because you can't really see the kids and it doesn't have the weight on there, et cetera, et cetera." So I was just kind of curious what people thought about that, because it's with COVID especially, and with so many people not being able to go to games, I think it's just a great option for people. We wouldn't have got to see a lot of the AA championship football game had that gentleman from Missoula not Facebook Live. So I just was curious what you thought about it. So that's my first thing.
Well, I'm waiting to get in trouble because I did during the show last week. I showed a little bit here, a few seconds here and there of the tournament game that was going on while I was on the air between 4 and 5. But yeah, there's signs everywhere at the state tournament last week, and there will be this week too, all over the state, that say, Facebook Living, no streaming at all. Like you can't use Periscope, which is Twitter, Facebook Live, any of that, because they want you to spend the money on NFHS Network, which I can't say anything bad about because they paid me handsomely to go up to Great Falls last week. But if that doesn't work, then how are I'm split, I guess. If that doesn't work, how are folks supposed to see it? And they've had a boon this year. There's no doubt about it for NFHS Network. But mostly they do a pretty good job. You just don't have announcers usually at these events.
Well, as per usual, Butte, of course, was the leader in the pack of making sure we did have, they had it set up by the radio guy, so you could it was like play by their radio guy, so it worked out great. But I just, I feel very fortunate because as the cheer coach, I get to go to everything. And I feel bad sometimes when Grandma and Grandpa or the beginning of the wrestling season, either mother or dad couldn't be at the wrestling match. And there I am. I thought, might as well do what I can do to send it out. But I was just kind of curious what you thought, and because I was listening to you last week. So now I'll move on to my next topic. I was thinking.
Well, hold on. Let me reintroduce you. You're just on a roll here. Sue Halls Bannon joining us. She is the Capital cheer coach, and laid it out yesterday, literally, because I did not know the difference between a back tuck and a back flip, but now I know. And okay, next topic, Sue.
So I was watching last week, listening to you, which you did a great job, and watching the A tournament up in Great Falls. And I was just curious. I thought that everybody got to have like 500 fans. It appears from our angle that there was hardly anybody there. So I'm curious if they limited A or how that worked. And, everybody's been complaining all year about we can't go to this, we can't go to that. And it didn't seem like there was many people there. And I was wondering if it was just our angle.
It was probably a little bit your angle. There were some teams that didn't have all 500 tickets sold, and you could tell. But, certain teams did. Billings Central was pretty packed. Hardin, Ronan, their crowds traveled well. There was some other, Havre obviously traveled well, being 90 miles away. So, but other ones like Whitefish, they didn't travel as far, I don't think. Columbia Falls didn't have the same type of crowd that you'd expect at a state tournament. But overall, I thought it was great. It was a great tournament. The Dillon crowd was fantastic. Beaverhead County. So there was some great crowds, and some of it just, they didn't sell enough tickets, I don't think.
Sure. So I'm excited this week. I'll get to be up there for the whole time for the AA tournament, and we'll cheer for both. We have both our boys and girls team in the tournament. Mm-hmm. So I'm excited for my kids to have that feeling, and we haven't had very many fans all year, so I'm excited for them. So
that was really cool last week, having the cheerleaders there. It sucked not having the pep bands, but because the PA announcer, he did a pretty good job, but he was also the music guy, and he played the same songs literally every game, which was terrible. So if I never hear Cotton Eye Joe again, I'll be happy. A, because I'm a Bobcat fan, but also because he just played it so much. And not once did he play Seven Nation Army. I want Seven Nation Army. That's a high school tournament song. Come on, dude. But it was great seeing the cheerleaders. And you know me, I'm a big Billings West cheerleader, or for high voltage anyway. Bozeman's cheer squad's pretty good. I haven't seen yours in a while, but I got to tell you, Billings Central surprised me with how good it was. And it was fun to have the cheerleaders there last week.
Well, we're excited. We are really excited. And I'm excited because, well, we just finished, and I did not know this last week when I said I want to get on your show, but we were just involved in a virtual cheer competition, like over the internet, and some of the cheer coaches from Missoula put it together. And so my team won, which we were super excited about. Nice. That. We just got that information last night. So we're excited to take our wares on the road and go cheer for our Bruins. But if they're going to play Cotton Eye Joe, they better play Moni Moni, or I'm going to go right over there, and we're going to make sure that happens.
No, he did not play Moni Moni. So
yeah.
I think his name is Luke, and you're meaner than me, so I'll let you take care of it.
Well, I did have people already contact me about, and from some of the AA cheer coaches, and say we need to have somebody else because we heard that the music is kind of the same over and over. So he may be happy to have somebody play music for him. So. Cool.
It was really, really, I mean, he played good music. It was just the same ones over and over, which you get from pep bands, but some pep bands are better than others. So you can tell which ones are good. But I'm just happy that they had a lot of issues with music. So if you're going to play music, make sure he has it on his computer. Don't plug it into some iPod or phone. Make sure he's got it if you have to email or something, because they had a lot of issues with the sound system. Maybe it was just the cord going from the board to the computer, but yeah, it was rough for you feel bad for the girls because they're out there just hanging out and waiting for music to play.
Oh gosh, that's a horrible feeling as a coach. I instantly start sweating and my hands start shaking. I'm like, oh my God. And then my girls, they're mad at me and they're giving me the evil eye. Like, get the music. You have one job, do the music.
Hey, I do want to ask you, and it was a pretty good article in the paper. Man, I've been giving a lot of credit to the IR lately. That's strange. But anyway, a nice article about the 5 dudes on your team. There was a couple of dudes up at the State A tournament helping out the cheerleaders. Polson had a really good cheer squad, by the way. And they had a couple of football players on their team. So nice job with the 5 guys.
Oh, super. We are excited. And, it's been a great season, of course. Like I said in the paper, of course, it has to be the COVID season that we have probably one of our best teams we've ever had. And those boys, they fit in. They're so awesome to the girls, and we have so much fun. And they just bring a whole new element to practice and to the games. And, yeah, it's been a really fun year. And, those boys are good. And they work really hard. 2 or 3 of them, actually, I think all 5 of them, now that I say that, they go over to the All-Star Gym, over to HAC a couple days a week, and they practice stunting outside of our practice. They go over there with one of my old cheerleaders from MSU. She's at McKinley Winkle. She works there, and so she has them over there, and they work on all sorts of great college stunts. So I have really appreciated her, and gosh, we've gotten a lot better the last couple of months. Our little cheer village of alumni is growing, and it's helping a lot.
By the way, the Flyers, I'm sure, are loving this.
Oh, yeah, they do. Yes, they do.
And, instead of getting a couple of feet in the air, they're going just a little bit higher.
Yeah, we are, where we practice up at the wrestling room at Capitol, we don't have very high ceiling, and we don't get a lot of opportunities to practice basket tosses because the gyms are always so full. But we've been practicing a little bit more, had a little bit more availability in the gym. So I don't know if you're going to be in Great Falls, but whoever's going to be in Great Falls, they're going to see some high-flying Bruin girls. I'm not going to lie to you.
Well, I can't wait to watch because, and I will not be there, unfortunately, as much as I'd like to be, but I get stuck at home this weekend. The A was my one time out of the house for the year.
Yeah. Well,
you think I'm kidding?
Don't go to the golf course because I'll rat on you.
Oh well, I was there today. I took a nice little lesson from Chad, but I should have taken my clubs up to Great Falls last week. It was really nice up there.
That's what I heard. Oh gosh! And and our old golf pro from Bill Roberts is now pro up at Meadowlark.
He is. Yep, Scott Longnecker. Cool. So. Yeah. All right. What else are we chatting about? Oh, by the way, you mentioned you guys won the virtual thing. Congratulations to the Havre cheer squad, which I think won the Class A level last week too.
Yes, they did. And you know who has got a great cheer team that they just don't do competitions because it's just not their style, but Big Fork. That Heather up in Big Fork, she's got such a good cheer team, and she gets those football boys, as soon as football's over, they're at the cheer. And last Saturday, we were fortunate. We had some of the Grizzlies cheer team come over and give us a little clinic. And one of the boys that cheers for the Grizz, he is from Big Fork. And, man, he was so much fun and so much help. And so she's got a great program up there. And sometimes it goes unnoticed because she doesn't do any competitions. And us AA folks, we kind of rest on our laurels. And I think if we had to compete against her, we'd be in trouble.
Well, High Voltage is, like I said, they've been my favorite since I was in high school for good reason.
Of course.
They have a new coach the last couple of years, though, and it's not Tracy anymore, which is terrible because she's so good.
I loved her. Loved her.
She's yeah. But what I loved about them is just their numbers, and it made it's. When you have 3 or 7 or 9 cheerleaders out there, dancers, and that was the difference. They're dancers, not just cheerleaders. They do both, some of them. But the numbers were huge, and it makes some of those moves look so cool. It's like almost like the Marine band in A Few Good Men at the beginning when they're not the band, but the Marines. But all the hand movements and leg, it looks really cool because they have so many people out there.
Well, we have 19 on our team this year, so if we were able to use all of our 19, you would see some great stuff. But the MHSA is limiting us to 12 for the tournament, so it kind of sucks for us just because we had to kind of tell some of our kids, we had to kind of narrow it down for the state team, and that really was hurtful for some of the kids that have worked so hard all year. But we're just happy to go. We're happy we had a season. We have been very lucky. We have been able to cheer at football, wrestling, basketball, and in spite of COVID, it's worked for us. So we've had I think, a really great season.
All right, I don't know if I've asked you this before, but what is the best Bring It On movie?
You asked me that before, and I love the first one.
Okay.
The second one I did not like at all, but so I love the first one.
See, my favorite is I think it's the third one, the Bring It On All or Nothing.
I think that's the one Josh likes. And oh my gosh, he'll be so mad that I said that he liked the cheer movie, but he has to deal with it all the time. So he's going to kill me. But
the one with Hayden Panettiere is my favorite.
Yeah, that's the one he would say is his favorite.
Okay, yeah. Well, she is the movie. I mean, she's great.
She's so adorable.
She in that movie, yes. Okay, so MHSA does not sanction cheerleading and dancing events, correct?
Correct.
So you guys have to go out of state or do virtual on your own stuff?
Correct, yes.
All right. How often are you allowed to travel out of state to a competition, or have you?
Well, we haven't, actually. And I want to say really quick, we're only one of 3 states of the 50 that don't have high school cheer competition. Really? And one of 3. Yeah, one of 3. Wyoming, no offense to Wyoming, but Wyoming has a great competitive cheer program and a great high school cheer tournament. And it bums me out, but it's just a fight I'm not going to fight anymore. This is my 17th year as cheer coach at Capitol, and it's just a fight I don't want to do. The coach up in Lewistown always has like a thing the weekend after state basketball, and in Missoula they do them. But some of the issues for me are we can't miss our own basketball game on a Saturday to go to a competition. I just am not going to operate that because I get paid we are high school cheerleaders. Then if you go to these out-of-state ones, they're on Sundays, and we can't cheer on Sundays. So it makes it really prohibitive for us to participate in out-of-state stuff. And I'm lucky because we have a few things in our state that we can do. But if it limits, I think, the kids' opportunities to go out of state for college cheer.
Mm-hmm.
It does.
I could agree with that. I mean, you look at ESPN2 for years has always aired the high school or college championships from Disney down there in Florida. And, they've done a great job with it. And you look at like the University of Kentucky cheer they've unbelievable. But yeah, you don't have these girls from Montana because what do you do if you can't? I mean, how do you get recruited to be a cheerleader in college if you can't perform?
That is a really great question. It's very hard. We have 5 seniors this year, and those U of M folks came over to kind of do some little recruiting of our seniors. And nothing against U of M or MSU, but so they got to go to MSU and cheer. Like McKinley Winkle cheered for 4 years, and I'm not speaking for her, but I would venture to bet she never got more than $700, maybe $1,000 a year for cheer. And the amount of time that they put in, that even if they stay in state and go to one of our programs, it's not really cost effective for them. I'd really like to see some of our kids maybe go to Washington State or Boise State or Utah, University of Utah or BYU, because I think it would be such a great opportunity. And if we could just get 1 or 2 to do that, I think it would start a sort of maybe a chain of events. I would hope. That would be my hope.
Back in the 90s, MSU used to sponsor cheer, and then they stopped. But there was a girl from CMR, and I'll never forget her. Her name was Pepper Park, and she now Piper Flair. She married a football player, but she was a cheer and dancer at MSU, and then she went to after she graduated, she worked with the Portland Trail Blazers. She worked with the Sacramento Kings. She did amazing stuff in the pros, and then she, I think she's back in Bozeman now running a cheer or dance studio, but you don't see that anymore. And there was a girl from Absaroka that cheered for the Oakland Raiders back in the day, or LA Raiders because they were still in LA then. She was awesome, and then Pepper, and that's all that's all I know of.
Well, that coach that was high voltage, one of those 2 coaches, if it was the head coach or the assistant coach, 2 of her daughters went to cheer for San Diego Chargers.
Oh, that was Coach Tracy, I think.
Yes, I think so too. So it's just hard for it to happen, and I think it'd be so awesome for the girls to get girls and the boys. I have 3 senior boys, and I think if they were seen by Boise State or Washington State or somewhere, it's pretty rare to get 3 boys that have so much experience already as a senior in high school. I just wish they had more opportunities. That's all.
Well, you know what I really appreciate, and this sounds so weird for me to say this, but the stigma for a boys cheerleader is not as big as it used to be. It's not a bad thing now to be a cheerleader if you're a guy.
Oh, it's not. Oh, it is not. But it is. It takes a while to break that stigma. I'm not going to lie to you. It takes a while, and it might be great. We'll have 5 this year. We'll probably have 3 or 4 next year. But you've got to have 1 or 2 of those kids that everybody else likes, and yet he doesn't really. He's not going to be worried about the stigma to stick with it. And I'm not going to lie to you. I say this: every boy that I've had in my program that came like their senior year, their junior year, they all wish they would have done it sooner. So I think it is really an area that we could really work on. But hopefully MHS. Yeah, I know you will. I know.
I just can't. Well, I can't lift a girl now, so I would have been a flyer back in the day, Sue.
Well, one of the kids, one of the Mooney kids, I don't know if you follow Senator Baseball. We follow the basketball program, Tristan. So Tristan's little brother, Tyson, he is a sophomore, I believe, and he's been photographing and stuff a lot of Tristan's games this year, but he's been to a couple of our cheer practices, and he's flyable. The girls can fly him. Yeah. And they had him in a couple stunts one night, so it can happen. You never know.
All right, so you guys have to use the mats at all time, but only if someone's being lifted, correct?
No. Basket tosses. where we throw them up in the air. We got to have a mat. It's the more advanced stunts, you have to have a mat. If we have our back spot and our two bases. If the three of them ever lose contact with the flyer, then you have to have a mat.
Okay.
So basket tosses, those kind of things. Yeah.
Well, let's be honest. That mat's not going to really do a whole lot. It's like an inch thick.
I know it. Oh,
I mean,
guys.
Why? I guess it's a little bit better than a hard basketball court, but is it really?
No, I think sometimes it's a tripping hazard. Honestly, for us, more than a help, it's more of a tripping hazard. But we try to be really compliant because, and I don't understand the insurance side of things, but I know that there's a lot of liability with cheerleading, and it is one of the number one injuries in high school sports, if not college sports, and some pretty, severe injuries. So we really do focus a lot on safety. We are so lucky at Capitol because we have that whole wrestling room. That entire thing is matted.
Yeah.
So we don't ever have to practice on concrete. We never have to worry about practicing in an unsafe environment, and we're lucky that way because not everybody is that lucky.
Hey, I got a 2.5-year. Well, she'll be 3 May 1st. When should I get her into gymnastics or cheer?
I don't know. You should probably start getting them pretty soon, at least into gymnastics. There's so many cute little programs in town for gymnastics and dance and, so many things that I'm not promoting HAC, but they work really well with us, and I'm very thankful for them. And Laura runs a great program over at HAC for tumbling and cheerleading. And then they do the small size football cheerleaders over there too. And so, it's kind of fun for the kids. I know some of my friends' kids are coming up, and they've been involved with HAC doing cheer or gymnastics. In the past, I'm kind of rambling, but in the past, we didn't really need to have a lot of gymnastics to make our team. But our team is getting better, and there's more and more competition that you're going to have some tumbling and some gymnastics to make our team going forward. So I really encourage kids to start it as young as they can.
Well, we live on the other side of town, so she's probably not going to be a Capitol Bruin.
What?
I know. Well, she'll probably be East Helena.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
My son went to Helena High, though, so. And then the one cheer coach over there I used to know, what's her name? Kelsey.
Oh, love her. Yes, love her.
I knew her when she danced at MSU, or cheered at MSU. Yes. So.
Yeah, she helped me a lot when I was kind of floundering around. She helped me a lot. Oh, I liked her a lot. Yeah.
No, there's some, and that's, you can't have the rivalry with cheerleaders. It's not like, well, you do, but it's not like Bring It On. I mean, we're not cutting tires or slashing, wardrobes or anything, are we?
I would never do that.
You hesitated. I was wondering where you were going to go. I plead the fifth. Uniforms are expensive.
I love rivalries. Yeah, uniforms are expensive. Yeah.
All right. So, are we good? Or have you got everything off your chest here?
Yeah, I feel good. I feel like I covered everything I wanted to cover. And
I'll send you a bill.
Always. Okay, that sounds good.
Or maybe just a drink down in the future.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Sounds good. I'll get you a Bruin cheer shirt you can wear on your show.
Okay.
That was a hesitation.
Well, I'm a Bozeman Hawk, and I love high voltage. Although Tracy's never followed through on now she can't. So she was supposed to get the little one a high voltage cheer dance uniform. You know what? I will wear the T-shirt, but in exchange, you also have to give me an old uniform to hang up.
Well, I can do that.
Okay.
That's easy. That's easy. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Perfect.
Not one of these long sleeve ones. Something that might actually fit me too, because maybe I would wear it. I don't know.
Okay, no, we're not going there. But I will.
Well, not on the air. I meant for the wife.
No. We'll get you one for the wall.
Okay, let's do that. Skirt and top. How's that?
Perfect.
Okay.
Yeah, got it.
All right, Sue. Have fun up in Great Falls this week. You guys got an early game tomorrow morning. Make sure the girls are awake for it.
It's the boys in the morning. The boys my girls will be awake.
Yeah, that's what the boys play at 9. Make sure that the girls and your guys are awake.
Yeah, they'll be awake.
Are you
We'll be
heading
good.
up early tonight or tomorrow?
We're going up in the morning. The basketball boys are going tonight, but we're going up in the morning. You can't get in early anymore,
Yeah,
so
that's
we
true.
can't even, I don't think we can get in till like 8:15, so we'll be fine. We'll just get up in the morning and head up. Yeah.
Well, we'll be watching on the NFHS network, and they show the halftime routine, so there you go. We'll expect some good stuff in the morning.
Okay, really fast. So how awkward was that last week when that basketball team was
warming
up at halftime and the cheerleaders were still out there? Oh, my God.
Well, and then, so it was the Ronan boys, and their cheerleaders were on the floor, and they only have 3 of them. But so the team they were, I think it was it Polson or somebody, whoever they were playing, the other cheerleaders were like, get off the floor, let the girls finish. And the boys thought they were like being like rude. It's like, no, you guys are the rude ones being on the floor. Get off the floor. It's your cheerleaders.
Oh my gosh, that was so uncomfortable, and I was just watching it from my phone.
It was tough. So I got you on that one. That was brutal. I would like a shout out somehow, like a sign that says, "Jason, we love you," of some sort, and then I'll be happy. Okay.
Of course I will.
All right.
All right. Thank you for having me on, and have a great
Sue.
weekend.
You too.
Right.
Have fun in Great Falls. Hopefully you're not home till Saturday night.
Oh, we won't be. Midnight, Saturday night. You'll see.
There you go. I like it.
All right.
Safe
All
travel,
right.
Sue.
Thank you very much.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.
That is Sue Halls Bannon, everybody, and cheer coach over at Cap. I love cheer. I do. If I had to rank and I've said this, the West High Voltage Dance Squad above and beyond my favorites. Bozeman is pretty good for the last few years. Billings Central surprised me, their cheer squad, because of some of the risque dance moves they made. And you wouldn't expect it from Billings Central. But it was awesome. Just the whole routine and it's not just one. These girls and some of the guys have to learn. They have to learn a lot. So I give all the credit a ton of credit to cheerleaders and dancers. It's awesome. All right, we're going to take a break. We're going to come back, and when we do, we'll talk to Guy Almquist. He is the head coach of the Capital Boys. They are the 2 seed out of the West. They face Bozeman tomorrow morning, bright and early at 9 a.m. We'll hear from him next here on the Jason Walker Show.
Store-wide savings are what you'll find when you shop for new home furnishings at Rucker's Furniture. This means tremendous values on Helena's largest in-stock selection of home furnishings. When you shop Rucker's, you'll find store-wide savings on the furniture you want for every room in your home. And you'll also find our selection of Serta iComfort, the most comfortable beds in Helena. 12-month financing is available with approved credit on most purchases over $299. Ask for details. You'll find store-wide savings at Rucker's Furniture, 1010 Dearborn, Helena.
New vehicles keep coming, and Capital Collision Center keeps earning certifications to repair them. They're Helena's newest GM-certified facility. No matter the make or year, they repair your car to manufacturer's standards and requirements, maintaining its safety and value. Montana state law says it's your vehicle and it's your choice where you have it repaired. Choose Capital Collision Center, certified in GM, Subaru, and Nissan, and Helena's only shop certified in Honda, Acura, and Ford. When you value safety, go to Capital Collision Center on Euclid.
Have you thought about buying a home and just don't know where to begin? Well, when it comes to one of the most important purchases one can make, we understand it can be frustrating and confusing, but it doesn't have to be. Let the Major Mortgage team help you with all your mortgage needs. Major Mortgage means major service, and we would love the opportunity to help you today. Give J.R. McFadden, NMLS number 1246357, a call today at 406-465-1918, or you can visit him at 2001 11th Avenue, Building A, Suite 3 in Helena. Major Mortgage is a division of AMCAP Mortgage, NMLS number 129122, equal housing lender. Spring is fast approaching and summer is just around the corner, so now is the time to get those windows tinted at Auto Concepts as the sun starts to heat up. Tinting is the best way to keep the sun out of your little one's eyes driving down the road. Plus, it just looks cool. Auto Concepts is your exclusive 3M dealer for tinting as well as the best clear bras in town. Auto Concepts clear bras will not fade or yellow over time. And don't forget about suspension lifts and power steps for your rig too. Visit AutoConceptsHelena.com or check them out on Facebook. Auto Concepts, the auto enhancement professionals.
Hey,
1
Welcome back to the Jason Walker Show.
Welcome back, Jason Walker Show, presented by Capital Collision Center. On this day in history coming up, and the walk-off, and much more. So tomorrow morning up in Great Falls, the state class AA boys tournament gets underway, and the girls. There'll be 4 boys games tomorrow and Thursday, and then 4 girls games on Friday, but 2 girls games, so they're playing 6 games a day. The break in between is fantastic. It's so awesome. But there'll be some good basketball, and it starts at 9 a.m. tomorrow when the Capital Boys take on Bozeman, and it's going to be a great game. Here now to chat about it, the head coach of the Bruins, Guy Almquist, joining us on the Jason Walker Show. All right, Coach, congratulations on making the state tournament. It was different because you had to go back to the you win, you're in, one game divisional type situation. How did you approach that? Because a lot of the guys have only played in a divisional tournament. They hadn't had this one game play in.
Yeah, all of the guys. We've had divisional tournaments the last 3 years, so there's no one in high school in AA that had that one game format. So definitely different, and it's interesting to prepare for that. You can't just like preparing for state. You can't change everything you've been doing. You got to stick with add maybe a few wrinkles here and there, but that one game format there's a little nerves, and I think in our playoff game early on, you can see that we were a little bit nervous about that. Of course, we'd seen Hellgate get beat by the 7th seed, and our kids knew that and played like that a little bit early, but showed good resiliency. Super proud of them, showed a little toughness, and got themselves to state.
Obviously, making state is the goal. Now that you've got their mindset, how is it? Does it change at all?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, going into each and every year, one of my main goals really is to try and get the team to state, to help out the best I can with their goal of getting there, because I think it's such a positive experience for the kids. I think it's positive for the program. I think you can just build on that each and every year. But once you get there, we're all 0-0, and all you got to do, as they say, all you got to do is get in the tournament. And now that we're in it, we have nothing to lose. We aren't one of the teams that most are considered to be threats to the state championship, and we enjoy that. And these kids enjoy that. And so, we're preparing hard for Bozeman. We know that's going to be a very tough matchup for us. They had an excellent year. But we're going down there to win. That's our mindset. There's no other way. If you're not going down to win, why are you going?
That's a great point. Guy Almquist, our guest here, Jason Walker Show. Coach Holmquist isn't that Bozeman anymore. They still have a pretty good team, though, and because he didn't take everybody with him to Gallatin because he's coaching the girls anyway. But this is still a pretty good team that he left behind over there.
Oh, absolutely. 2 or 3 seniors that played a little bit last year, and then they've got a great junior class. Real skilled, great 3-point shooting team. Can do some different things defensively versus had some big wins. I mean, they beat the Great Falls, Skyviews of the world. They beat all those teams this year. So we know it's going to be a huge task for us for sure. But again, we've been preparing for them. I think we've got a pretty good idea of what it's going to look like Wednesday morning. Now we just have to go out and play.
I was up in Great Falls over the weekend, and I got to tell you, they handled the tournament atmosphere brilliantly. It was as awesome a tournament as I've been a part of. The stands are, aren't full, but the fans get to go. You get 500 tickets, and I'm sure Capital is going to sell those out or sold them out immediately. But there were some students there. Now the pep band is missing, but you still get the student section. This is still as much of a state tournament as MHSA is trying to give these students, and I think it's a great thing. And last week it was great at the State A, so I think you'll enjoy the experience up there.
Yeah, when you've got tickets like that, and of course we're playing the lid lifter, the 9 a.m. game, and the fans that are there are going to be the diehards. The casual fan is not at that game, and so we know that the fans that are going to be in the Four Seasons are going to be the diehards. They're going to make a lot of noise, cheer on the team, and we haven't been in front of more than 200 people probably all year, so I'm sure it'll feel like a huge crowd to us, and we're looking forward to it.
Guy Almquist joining us here, Jason Walker Show. You haven't seen anybody out of the East except on tape this year. We know how good Great Falls is. We know how good Skyview, Bozeman, the 3 seed. The East, on paper and on film, how does it look compared to the West?
I think pretty comparable. I think, most would say that, the favorites at this tournament are Sentinel, Great Falls, and Skyview, probably. And then, there's the rest of us. And so we'll see how that shakes out. Certainly, those are some really good basketball teams. I think the East was very split up between the top half and the lower half. I think there was a considerable difference, whereas the West was very tight. I mean, 2 through 7 on any given night in the West could beat each other. I mean, we lost to the 7th seed, the 6th seed, the 5th seed. I mean, and so it was a little bit more competitive most games, whereas the East, again, kind of had your A group and your B group, if you will. And so we'll see how that plays out in the state tournament. That's one of the interesting things about the state tournament is how the East and West match up against each other.
Are you guys heading up tonight or first thing in the morning?
We're going to get a practice in today, get some dinner on the way out, and head up there tonight. So get there, watch a little film, go to bed, and wake up. One of the things, again, with a 9 a.m. game, your preparation is not just about who you're going to play, but when you're going to play. I think that's a big deal. That's just not a normal start time for a high school basketball game, and we all know how high school kids can be getting up in the morning. So we challenge our kids all week to start to get ready for that 9 a.m. game, and how are you getting yourself physically and mentally ready to be the best you can be when that thing tips at 9.
With that, and I see it with football teams that play an early game as opposed to a night game, but breakfast times change, and you want to eat at a certain time so that you're not, lackadaisical and full by pregame so how does that all change for you guys in the morning? Because normally guys are on their own for pregame meal because it's school and they're home and things like that. But how does this change on the road now?
Well, the one thing with a state tournament environment or divisional, whatever tournament, that I like is you can control those circumstances a little bit as a coach. Whereas when you're at home and they're on their own, you really have no control. You have control of 2 hours of practice, and that's about it. In this circumstance, we can control when they go to bed, when they eat, when they wake up, what kind of activities they're doing. And so, again, we're going to make sure we're up early, we're in bed early, and when we get to that gym at roughly 8 o'clock in the morning, we're primed to go. And so it's a different experience for the kids, but one they're looking forward to.
Guy Almquist, our guest here, Jason Walker Show. I know you're not looking ahead, but if you win, there's a good chance you're playing the Bison out of Great Falls, which is a very good team. Coach Howard has done, his record speaks for itself, but they have a very tough Glacier game. And are you going to be watching that one pretty intensely?
Absolutely. We'll watch. You know what? I just love state tournaments. So when I'm there, I'm going to be watching all the boys' games and, of course, our girls' games. But the boys' games, it's just interesting to me. And obviously, we'll play one of those 2 teams. And we saw Great Falls High up close and personal last year at the state tournament. Mm-hmm. That was one of our few games we got to play this summer. We know how talented they are, but we also know the Glacier just went to Hellgate and beat them in the playoff game, so they're doing something right. I can assure you that. So it should be a great game, but certainly myself and my assistants will be watching closely all the other games.
Good coverage on the NFHS network, even though I won't be there.
Yeah, no, I think everyone's kind of, one thing this year's done, it's been a boon for NFHS. I can tell you that, I'm sure. It's everyone knows that that's out there, how to watch games, and it's been a blessing too, because in the state of Montana in the middle of winter, you can't travel to all the places you want to watch. And so, I'll go from watching games in the AA to I have some friends in Chester and Conrad, and I'm watching their basketball games, and it's great. So, yeah, if our fans don't have the opportunity to get down there on a Wednesday morning and a Thursday afternoon, we hope they tune in on that to cheer us on.
College basketball, real quick. You got the Carroll men and women out at LC State. Interesting now with the NAI doing regionals. It wasn't like this when you played, but do you like the new format?
We'll have to see it play out. I don't mind it. I like that all NAI divisions are together. I've never quite understood why there would be different divisions in NAIA, but so I do like that part for sure. And if they're going to take them, I think they're taking 48 into the playoffs, correct?
Right. Yeah. 48 this year, and then they'll do 64 next year.
Okay, so that's more than they've taken in the past. Obviously, combining them, Warren staff, but not a bad situation. The only part I don't like is how the sites are chosen, and that's just how life works in 2021. I think it's based primarily on money. You'd like to see the higher seeds be able to host those, but that's just not reality. So that's the only thing I'm not a huge fan of.
It is National Barbie Day today. Kids have Barbies going up, the girls?
You know, I've not a lot of Barbies in my house. Not a lot of Barbies that I can remember.
It is Meatball Day today. Are you a fan of meatballs?
Meatball Day?
Yeah.
Oh, I love meatballs. Yeah. Okay. I don't know how you can go wrong with meatballs.
You're not even Italian.
Celebrate that each and every day. There's no question about that.
So we know what your meal's going to be from certain restaurants probably up there in Great Falls. You're going to get the meatball subs.
That could be one of them, but I'll tell you one thing I'm going to get is while we're up there, in this COVID year, we haven't gone to restaurants, and so when I've gone to Missoula, I haven't been able to hit Hoagieville each and every trip. So I'm going to be hitting that Montana Club Hoagie Cheese Fry, and that's going to go down the hatch quick as soon as we get there.
I thought you were going to say Howard's Pizza, because that's as good a pizza in the state of Montana as there is. It's greasy. It's just good.
Yeah, well, I go to the Montana Club. I can get the guys. All the players can have chicken and salads and linguine, and I'm going to get cheese fries and a big burger. So that's how I get to treat myself.
After the tournament, you can get yourself a greasy pizza. How's that?
Yeah, well, that's definitely on the menu almost weekly in my house.
Hey, real quick, Coach, before I let you go. Noah Kovic, Carson DeRozier are each winning a state championship for the second time for Capital High. Where would those two fit in on the basketball team?
Noah obviously being an enforcer, there's no doubt about that. Now, I've actually seen Carson play quite a bit. In fact, he'll come and play in open gyms before and after the season, just because he's someone who just likes to compete and get out and have exercise. He'll walk in, he's asked me, "Hey, Coach, can I play?" I'm like, "Yeah, you can play. If you're going to compete hard, go out there and play," and he does. So I've actually seen Carson play. I would say that if he was on the team, he might be the backup to our backup point guard. Let's put it that way.
Okay. All right. So it's good that they're both wrestlers.
I think they made good choices.
I like that.
Just like most of my basketball players made excellent choices of picking basketball over wrestling.
Well, there you go. Hey, that is true. Hey, win a state championship, will you? It's been a few years, like 7.
Oh, yeah. We'll give it a good shot. Like I said, you get there, you might as well try and win the dang thing. So
exactly.
We've got nothing. And we're going to let it rip on Wednesday morning.
Hey, Coach, we appreciate it, and we'll talk next week when you win. How's that?
All right. Sounds good. Thanks, Jason.
Guy Almquist joining us, Jason Walker Show, and good luck to all the teams. You got the state AA boys and girls up at Great Falls starting tomorrow. Is it the B at Metra and the C at Lockwood, or vice versa, but boys and girls combined. So 6 state champs this week will be crowned across the state of Montana. It's going to be a ton of fun. All right, let's do On This Day in History, and it is brought to you by Big Sky Printwear. We print what you wear, and that includes soon Jason Walker Show shirts. Are you ready to wear? Will you wear a shirt? At J Walker Sports on the Twitter. You can email us, jason@jasonwalkershow.com. Will you wear a Jason Walker Show t-shirt? It is National Barbie Day today. On March the 9th. 1959, Barbie makes her debut at the American Toy Fair in New York. Over 1 billion have been sold worldwide since. It is Crab Meat Day. It is National Get Over It Day. It is also National Meatball Day. We had meatballs last night. The wife made really good. It was really good. I don't even know what it had, like carrots and rice and cool sauce. It was good. 1897, Cleveland Indians fans, okay, for all of you cancel culturers, Cleveland Indians fans start calling the team the Indians. In 1915, it became official. That happened on this date in 1897. The fans started calling the team the Cleveland Indians because the then Cleveland Spiders signed Louis Sokolexis, a full-blooded Penobscot Indian from Maine. That's where the Penobscot Indians, natives came from. And so that is how the Indians got their nickname for Cleveland. 1936, Babe Ruth turned down the Reds to make a comeback. 1946, Ted Williams was offered $500,000 to play in the Mexican Baseball League, and he said no. 1964, the father-in-law would appreciate this. The first Ford Mustang was produced. 1979, MLB Commissioner Bowie Kuhn orders baseball to give equal access to female reporters. 1979, I can't believe it took that long. And there's still female reporters being hosed. This needs to change. Treat female reporters the same as the dudes. 1988, President Reagan presides at the unveiling of the Knute Rockne stamp. Of course, Ronald Reagan, the actor in the movie about George Gipp. 2002, Joe Sakic played his 1,000th career game. 1824, Leland Stanford was born, the 8th governor of California, the founder of Stanford University, and also the Southern Pacific Railroad. 1934, Yuri Gagarin was born, the Russian cosmonaut, the first man into space. 1965, couple of birthdays. Benito Santiago was born, the catcher. And Brian Bosworth, the NFL linebacker, was born. Great hair back in the 80s, man. Remember? He totally had great hair. Let's see. Julia Mancuso's birthday is today. 4 Olympic gold medals. She was born in Reno. 1986, NASA announced the searchers found the remains of the Challenger astronauts. And in 2005, Chris Ledoux died on this date. Hooked on an 8-second ride. And so many more great, great songs. Liver failure. All right. So, there is on this day in history. It is brought to you by Big Sky Printwear. We print what you wear. New location of 1400 Euclid. 35 years plus of experience. Now, they do this cool thing. It's called direct to garment. If you don't know what that is, just stop in. Let the gals at Big Sky Printwear show you. If you need just one shirt printed, that's all. That's what they'll do. They'll set you up. And we will have Jason Walker t-shirts, I'm guessing, next week or the week after, that we'll start to give away. Got to figure out a good way to give them away. But we will. I promise. Big Sky Printwear. We print what you wear.
We're almost at the end of the show. What did we learn? And what did he miss? Time for the walk-off.
We had a good time today in the Major Mortgage Man Cave and talking to Daniel Shepard. We learned today that the Carroll College men were supposed to play College of the Ozarks. They are now going to play Texas Wesleyan on Friday night in the opening round at the NAI Regionals out in Lewiston, Idaho. Guy Almquist talking hoops with us. And we talked cheerleading, too, with Sue Halls Bannon, cheer coach over at Capitol. We learned the difference in the last 24 hours between a back tuck and a back flip. Noah Kovic knocking out the tuck because he didn't flip. Because he didn't put his hands on the mat. So you get another look at it, courtesy of Frank Gogola. But here it is. This is a back tuck. He did not go into the pike position. And yes, I know what the pike position is. Anyway, tomorrow, Lindsay Woolley will join us, Western women's head coach, the defending national champion, UM Western still. We'll also talk to Rochelle Sayers, Carroll College women's coach. Big show coming up tomorrow at 4. Make sure you go to jasonwalkershow.com anytime. We'll see you tomorrow.
The Jason Walker Show is produced by the Jason Walker Media Company. Any reuse, rebroadcast, or retransmission without the express written consent of the Jason Walker Show is strictly prohibited. Just listen, watch, and enjoy.